Yeah.
All right. Good evening and welcome to the super regional episode of Husker Heat. It just occurs to me that the title I put up for tonight's show kind of makes it sound like a local bank is sponsoring the regional. Welcome to the first Lincoln Super Regional. I was like, because it's the first ever Super Regional held, hosted by the Huskers in Lincoln, Nebraska. But for welcome to the first Lincoln Super Regional. That almost sounds like the Super Regional brought to you by First Lincoln Bank. You're taking care of your needs in Lincoln banking for 47 years, or some shit like that. But that's not the case. It is the first super regional, and we had an exciting regional, did we not, Miley, in 90-degree heat constantly?
It was kind of a snooze fest, to be honest.
Well, the pit, I really enjoyed watching Alexis and Jordy work, but
on the pitching side, yeah, but on the batting side,
on the batting side, you just hope it's something that works itself out, because now it's not going to get any easier. They're going to face the best pitcher. They're going to face a better pitcher than they faced in the regional where they struggled to score some runs, and that is Omaha's own Ruby Malin, who played her high school ball at Scott, and we'll definitely talk about her tonight because, as I was just telling Miley, she's likely going, barring a blowout on either side, which, these teams basically played twice this year already, and both were very tight games. Ruby Malin's going to pitch every inning of every game for them. We'll talk about why that is, and just think UCLA pitching staff. So anyway, our record now is 49-6 after sweeping the regional for the second year in a row. They went 3-0 at the Baton Rouge regional last year and beat Southeast Louisiana twice when Southeast Louisiana beat LSU twice. LSU has gotten over that. They won as a lower seed this year because last year I believe they were the like 8th seed or something like that, and they were the 6th. I think they were the 16th seed this year, or are the 16th seed, and they won their regional, so they've moved on to the super regional where they will not be hosting. But yeah, we beat South Dakota 4-1. I don't think people were expecting a score that low, but what's her name? Madison Evans was for real. She pitched. I think we talked about it last week. She pitched 3 of the 4 games, or we didn't. I don't think we really got into her. I got into it more in the preview article. But she started 4 games in the last 3 days of the Summit League tournament where they played double elimination, beat UNO twice. She got rocked by UNO once when they made it back to the winner's side, and then beat South Dakota 10-1. Then she turned around and beat them 2-1. And I think she only gave up 1 run in the 3 of those 4 games that she won. And she definitely gave the Huskers some fits. I believe they were trailing 1-0 entering the bottom of the 5th inning.
Tatum.
Miley's fetching the puppy. We have to see if he actually comes.
No.
Nope. And then we played 2 straight. We played Grand Canyon, beat them 2-0. They elected not to go with their ace, Oakley Vickers, after she pitched on Friday against Louisville and beat them. And then what they tend to do is they go with Vickers one game and go with as many. They had a pretty deep staff. They had 4 really good pitchers, and then they'll throw the other 3. And I think even the 5th one's pretty good. And they would throw either 3 or 4 of them in a game and then throw Vickers in the next game. And they actually on Saturday, let's see, they did not pitch Vickers against us, and then they had their committee go again in their afternoon game where they beat South Dakota in extra innings, so they could have then he just rolled the dice that they could win that game without her and have her ready for Sunday's game, which we won 1-0. So she didn't disappoint. I think she scattered 5 hits over about 5 1/3 innings. Pitched great, and just Alexis Jensen pitched better. Alexis threw 5 shutout innings in that game, 5 innings of one hit, 1 run ball, the solo homer against South Dakota. So kind of lost in Jordy Frahm's amazing weekend was that Jensen threw 10 innings of 0.7 ERA ball, had a whip of 500 of 0.500, which is ridiculously low. But then Jordy pitched 11 innings, didn't give up a single run, and her whip was .272. She only allowed 2 hits and 1 walk over 11 innings. So just amazing pitching. And, maybe I need to rethink what I said that, Tennessee's got the best staff in the nation because they have 3 pitchers. And I think 2 of them are under a 1 ERA for the season. The other one's like 106. So it's kind of hard to argue with that. But Jensen and Frahm weren't backing down from anyone. Frahm strikes out 16 Antelopes on Sunday. Antelopes on Saturday in the 2-0 shutout. And then, so she pitches 7 innings there, then comes back, pitches the last 2 on Sunday and struck out 5 in those 2 innings. So she struck out 21 over 9 innings. And just for fun with the numbers, the Major League single game strikeout record for a 9-inning game is 20. So actually struck out more there. Are we getting Tatum? Oh, I thought I saw you reaching for a dog.
He's camera shy.
Oh, sure he is. So say hi to Tatum, everyone, and just imagine how bad that sloppy rawhide bone smells. It's a stinky bone.
It's slimy.
Yeah, it's slimy and wet rawhide. Yummy.
On the blanket.
So the Huskers they're the number 4 national seed for the tournament. They've now won 24 straight games and 38 of their last 39. So that's what Oklahoma State has to deal with. Now, Oklahoma State's given Nebraska trouble. They have, I think we are 1-5 against them since 2022. And they didn't play each other from like 2015 to 21. But the last time, the thing about that 1-5, well, the one just happened this year. The last time they played back in March, they won the second game. And this is the first time Oklahoma State has played in Lincoln since 2011, because we'll always go down to Oklahoma State or down to a little tournament or whatever that Oklahoma State's in. in the non-conference schedule in the spring, but generally they're not coming up here because
Losers.
what's that? No,
I,
just
t-
once that
I said
we don't
losers.
want to be playing up here in the middle of March.
It was
If
a
we
joke.
okay, but we don't want to be playing up here. I think we start in like the middle of March, and at that point, the conference is getting ready to start. So so it's understandable that they're not going to be in Lincoln very often, but at least this time we've got the super regional here, and we've got Oklahoma State and our house. So it's going to be the first time in 6 meetings where they just don't have their crowd going crazy behind them. They don't have their bleacher crowd heckling the left fielder, which is a thing of theirs, is harassing the left field, pouring down Busch Light and harassing the left fielder.
Ew.
And well, hey, you can't really do that because it was Nebraska that emptied out the Busch Light in Oklahoma City at the NCAA
Oh, I
region.
thought you meant like pouring it on
No,
them.
they don't pour it on them. No, they harass. I said, well,
You
pouring
said
down. I
you
guess
said
pouring it down
harass,
their
and
own
then you said
throats.
pouring down
Right.
Coors or whatever, or
So
Bush.
anyway, we've got them at home, and that's a very, very good thing. Let's see. So let's see. We got a comment here. Let's check comments before we start diving in. Oh, what is that from upstairs?
No, he's downstairs.
Is he down here? Cotter's saying howdy Tatum. Are you upstairs? You're upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's hi from downstairs. Yeah, Tatum's already made his appearance, Cotter. So there you have that. And anyhow, let's see. So let's talk about that. We played Oklahoma State back in March. The first game we had Malin versus Frahm. They took Jordy out in the 7th, and Alexis Jensen came in and just pitched a wonderful 4 innings, but gave up a home run in the bottom of the 11th, and that was that. And I think we had the first of Hannah Coors like great catches, because who was it? I think it was Rosie Davis sent one to the fence, like either in the
Oh, yeah.
7th or like the 8th inning, and the wind was kind of carrying it to right, so. And Coors just kind of found the track and then just started running across the wall, timed the jump perfectly, and put the glove up and pulled it back into the park. And the net, that was another Alexis Jensen home run. She ended up most of them she gave up in the first half, but like I said, she still gave up one against South Dakota, and that's been probably her only bugaboo this season, is that she's given up, I believe, 23 homers now. If I'm off by maybe one. But that's also Ruby Malin's problem. Ruby Malin has given up 22 home runs this year. So I mean, she's 29-7 with a 2.12 ERA and a WHIP under 1. But yeah, you'd think the ERA might be a little lower. Was it? Oh, did I write? I didn't write down the hits, but with a WHIP under 1, she's given up very few hits for the innings she's pitched. Struck out 216 in those 238 innings and walked only 54. But you can get the long ball on her. And then so we lost that game in extra innings. It went 11. And then we played on Saturday afternoon. I think they started, I didn't even write down anybody besides, it's Riley something, who's Oklahoma State's next pitcher. And she and I think Alexis started, and then we got a close game in the 4th. In came Jordy, in came Ruby, and then Jordy won that battle. And then the Sunday game was winter weathered out because there was a winter weather warning up in the northeast corner of Kansas, which if they had just played the game as waited, I think it was just if they just would have waited it out, played the game as scheduled, it all would have been over by the time they drove home. Highways would have been pretty much dry. Then instead, everybody takes off about 11 or 12, and so caught some slushy roads by canceling it early because of weather. But anyway, yeah, the rubber match got canceled due to weird weather, and I guess we're going to play it now and have a series here in Lincoln or down in Lincoln. Let's see, Fred Sacco is here. Andy said long ball. Yes, I did. Yeah, long gone. I said
He
long
likes
gone,
long balls.
and I said long ball. Oh, and we got Aaron in there, greeting us from the Charles Schwab press box. I
Did you
guess
see
the evening
Connor's
games are
comment?
getting going there. What's that?
Did you see Connor's comment?
Hi Tatum, and Tatum is my
No.
favorite co-host. Yeah,
Oh
there you go.
God.
Yes.
That's rude.
Well, it's also probably true of a lot of people, if we're honest. It's a cute puppy, for crying out loud. But greetings back to the Charles Schwab press box. I guess we'll have our super regional going while we got the Nebraska baseball playing the conference tournament up here in Omaha, and I'll be invading the Miley and Connor household again. I'll probably need the code Thursday night. You guys will
Yeah.
probably be in bed.
Yeah.
If you what have we got for start times? We've got 8 p.m. Thursday night. That'll be our second 8 p.m. start for television. What did they say? That one's on ESPN2. I
Yeah,
think the
something like
first
that.
one, and then we'll play Friday at 4 and Saturday at 4 if necessary on Saturday. So that's where we are with the schedule. And but yeah, I think we talked about Rudy Malin. Yeah, she will pitch every inning of every game. Because here's the deal. I shaved out the UCLA staff's stats without Taylor Tinsley. So here's what Oklahoma State throws at you if they put anybody but Ruby Malin in. The rest of the staff combined has a 5.29 ERA and a 1.795, almost 2 base runners per innings for the whip, the walks and hits per innings pitch. So yeah, they're just, you're just not going to see it. And that's basically what we did with Jordy last year. I think we blew out Connecticut in our first regional game and got Kylie and Hannah Camenzind in. And after that, for the rest of the postseason, I just think all we saw was Jordy, because she pitched all 3 super regional games. And I think and then the very next game was UCLA, and she went the distance when we lost that. Nom, 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 says Tatum. He really is a sweetheart, and he's not trying to pretend that your arms and hands are jerky.
When he's not a baby shark.
Yeah, baby shark. Doo, 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 doo,
Oh
doo.
God.
Well, who was that? That was the Jamie Tart song in Ted Lasso.
Oh God.
Jamie Tart. Doo, 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 doo. But anyway, the Okie State staff is a one man gang. Ruby, like I said, threw 238 innings. The rest of the staff threw 127 combined. Gave up 182 hits in those 127 innings, so they give up a lot of hits. Don't really strike any. Only struck out 64 batters. There's nothing threatening about the rest of the staff. I won't call them names. They do their best, but if Ruby was to pull a Jordy and blow that ACL out in the second inning of the first game, that would basically be it. So not that I'm wishing for that. I'm just saying there's not a lot of help there, and that's the big difference Alexis Jensen makes for us this year is just was now we can throw 2 starters at them, and we're just going to be fresher. Our legs are the legs, which are really the muscle of that motion, is just kind of that push off and landing there. That's a lot of work on the legs. Let's see. So what do we have? We talked about, okay, all time we're actually 13. You all right?
Yeah.
We're actually 13-11 all time against Oklahoma State. But people forget that back when Rhonda got the job, they were just a constant. I think they went to 10 out to the NCAAs for 10 out of 11 years before the rest of the country caught up, and now softball is a 300 team Division I division, and got all the power in the South. The SEC has taken over, that sort of thing, and it's just a much more competitive and fun game to watch, and much higher scoring, this weekend accepted, than it was back when, say, I was in school there in the 80s. So so here's our problem. Along with the great performances by Jordy and Alexis this weekend. And what it was, Jordy threw 11 innings, didn't give up a run. The wild thing to me is the 0.272 whip. A whip around 1 is fantastic, and she's basically almost allowing nobody on base per inning most of the time. And then in Maryland, there was problems with the bats, but it was the top of the order that didn't really hit in Maryland. they fixed their problems. And Jordy was 3 for 9 and then walked once. So she was 4 for 10 getting on, had a double, scored a couple of runs. And the thing is, Jordy going 3 for 9 and hitting 333, that's considered still an off weekend for her when she's batting 421. And I think, what was it? She was up around 451 at one point. But then Hannah Kaur came alive. She was 4 for 9, walked once for a 500 on base, had 2 triples, like to knock in the first run of both games in the same inning, and the same person, Jordy. I think both of Jordy's runs were off of Hannah's triples. So she knocks in a couple, scores a couple, steals a base. Hannah Camenzind goes 3 for 7, draws 3 walks. So her on base for the weekend was 600. She was our most effective hitter. And all 3 of her hits were for extra bases, 2 doubles, and the solo homer that was the only run in the final game on Sunday. I don't know if you call it the championship game because it's double elimination, but whatever. She scored the only run on that solo job. And then the bottom of the order, not so good, except for Sammy Bland, who stayed hot. I think she was 5 for 7 in Maryland at the conference tournament. She went 2 for 6 with a double, a run scored, stole a base. And then she also got on base by getting drilled a couple of times. and I'll show it next week. I forgot to download all the pictures so that I wasn't feeling well earlier today. But I got a picture of her, and her face is literally the eyes shut and mouth straight emoji. Just that kind of like, she's not
like
grimacing.
You're taking a shit?
No, she's not grimacing. She's just kind of like, that hurt, but I'm not going to make a big deal about it. Yeah, I would think one of the dump emoji would be more like one where they're doing that, But anyway, we won't go into that for 5 minutes.
Right.
But anyway, now the bottom of the order, and by the bottom I just mean beyond the top 3 and take out Sammy. Ava Cusack was 0 for 7. She did walk 3 times, so her on base was 300. So she didn't really hurt anything. But then Jess Farrell was 1 for 8. Cope, Emerson Cope, her first game DPing, she was 0 for 2 and got replaced by, Bella Bacon played first and they let her hit. So that's kind of who was replacing her. They just had Hannah Camenzind do the DP so they could put Natalia Hill in left field for defensive purposes. And now I've actually at times, I've never said it out loud or called any of them by the wrong name, but her and Sammy do kind of bear resemblance to each other, and they both she wears 27 and Sammy wears 29. So if Sammy's uniform crumples a little, those 27s look alike. They look a little alike, and there she was having some fun on TikTok, going, "Doggone it, everybody, quit calling me Sammy." And she's playing this mopey music, and then the funny part is they show her walk into the locker room and then go sit down at Sammy's locker. So that was kind of funny. Natalia has some fun. They have someone that love to have some fun on TikTok, but Natalia's are usually worth watching if you need a laugh. Casey Hoffman, who had been pretty hot, was only 1 for 8, but one of those hits was big in the South Dakota game. She had I believe that was her that had the 2-run double. But then Lauren Camenzind was 0 for 7. Bella Bacon was 1 for 4, got a walk, so at least she was 2 for 5 getting on in the 2 games where she hit. But here's the thing. The top 3 plus Sammy hit 387 and had an on-base percentage of 500, 12 for 31 and 19 for 38. But that bottom of the order minus Sammy was only 3 for 37. That's an 081 batting average, and their on-base was only 175. And that's been a strength of the team this year. Is the middle bottom of that order usually has a few of them hitting well, and it just didn't happen at all this weekend. And that's why your total score for the weekend was 7-1. In 3 games, we scored 7 runs. I don't know. If these guys pitch, the way they pitched in, Lincoln last weekend, they do it again this weekend. Maybe 7 runs will be enough, and maybe that'd be enough in 2 games. Oklahoma State's a good hitting team. They're not frightening. They've got 4 what I call their big hitters. Their best hitter to me is probably Rosie Davis. She's got a 1043. What do they call it? Slugging. OPS, on base plus slugging. It's been a rough day, folks. Have a heart. But anyway,
No.
she has an OPS of 1.113. That's their slugging percentage plus their on base, considered pretty good way to judge their total effect. Are they getting on and are they showing power? That sort of thing. But she hits 318, 14 homers, 64 ribbies. They're a fast team. The team has stolen, whatever, 73 bases this year. For comparison, we've stolen 41. And Amanda stole 6. And she batting average 318, on base 418. And then you have Rosie, who hits 330, on base 400. She's their homer leader, 15 homers, 48 ribbies, stole 8 bases, and an OPS of 1.043. If your OPS is over 1, you're crushing it. I think Jordy's is around 1.3 or 1.4 something. And then you have Claire Tim, who's quietly one of the quiet hitters on their team. 336, 9 homers, 34 RBIs, stole 3 bases, but her on base is 432, the highest on the team. The OPS is over 1. And then you have their leadoff hitter, and okay, she hits 349, on base of 417, but only 2 homers, 27 ribbies, stolen 10 bases, but that's not a crazy number of steals. But her OPS is only 843 because she is just single, 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 single. I'm just wondering. I can't remember if she's the runny slappy hitter or not. The ones that like to run halfway to the mound after they swing, just irritating. But okay, fine. But those are their best hitters. We've got an advantage in hitting up. We hit about 16 points higher. We've got about 20 more homers. They steal more bases, but Ruby Malin, controls most of this. Their team ERA is 3.22. Ours is 1.85. Big advantage there. We are down to 1.85 as a team right now. And by the same token that Ruby's going to pitch every inning of every game, you've probably, barring a blowout somewhere along the line, you've seen the last of Hannah Kamenson or Kylie McGee on the mound. It is going to be nothing but Alexis Jensen and Jordy Frahm. But being able to do that with 2 pitchers instead of just one gives you a big advantage. You've just got fresher arms and fresher legs. They struck out 280 batters and walking 100. We struck out 470 batters and walked only 91. It's the best strikeout to walk ratio in NCAA Division I. And in their regional, Oklahoma State, they beat Eastern Illinois 16-0, 5 innings in their first game, and then beat Stanford twice, 7-2 in the winter bracket game on Saturday. They win their way back to play Sunday and then lost again 11-5. So that is your Oklahoma State team. That's what's going on. Let's check the comments, and I'll just tell you a little about Okie State overall. Yeah. Aaron says he's ready to party hard for that 8 p.m. game. Here he goes. Do you hate GCU as much as I do? Doubtful. I mean, I didn't really feel strongly about them either way. But then in the press conference afterwards, their coach seems like a really good guy. He's got to be from Texas. Like he mentioned, he's known Rhonda for like 17 or 18 years. Just respects the hell out of her and talks about some of the things he picked up that she did way back then. Like he's stolen things that he's learned from her over the years. And then the 2 players that were with them, Emily, I can't remember her last name. I forgot it. And then their starter, Oakley Vickers. Oakley's a sophomore. She looks about 14 years old. She's just adorable. And why I say that is because someone asked her this question where they just loaded up with how good. Oh, and you had a great freshman year, but then you did certain things, became even a more amazing pitcher your sophomore year. What do you how do you explain your amazing talent and numbers or something like that? I mean, just going at it. And yeah, and she's like Tatum puppy cute, and she just turns beet red and giggles a little and kind of turns her head like this, like she's just embarrassed. And she kind of looks at the coach, and a few seconds go by, and everybody's just like, oh, this is adorable. It's like she doesn't want it to go. Well, the reason I'm so great is the coach takes it, just talks about what a great player person she is and everything. And then he finishes off by looking at her and kind of going, and she would never answer a question like that where she's supposed to talk about how great she is. She just won't do it. So yeah, that was fun. So those players, I mean, I like them. I like their coach, and that really was he rolled the dice and set it up. I mean, he, like I said, avoided pitching her all day Saturday, just took the chance. The rest of the staff could get him back to Sunday against Nebraska and have his ace fresh and ready to go. And I asked him how, I said, of course it's frustrating, but take us through. He goes, yeah, it's like you take a chance because you want to play to win. You don't want to just play, oh, let's make it here. He goes, I wanted to give us the best chance to win and take a little chance to make that happen. He goes, and so we do everything right, and then we run into Jordy Frahm, and yeah, he used the line one of the first questions. He goes, how did you just got shut out twice by Nebraska in 2 days, and he's like, well, a long time ago, somebody told me that you're going to lose 90% of the games where you don't score a run, and after this weekend, I'm starting to believe him. So, yeah, he seemed like a good guy. What else do we have from Aaron here? Fred will show you some power down south. More like Fred will show you some power with his mouth. Old Fred there.
That doesn't sound too good either.
Yeah, but it sounds more accurate. Fun fact from Connor. Miley, why don't you take this one?
Okay. Nebraska has the most wins in the Big Ten this year in all sports. It's a good thing football plays the least amount of games. True.
Yeah, because I was going to say both basketball teams, volleyball, the diamond sports, those are all a high number of games. And one thing somebody pointed out last week was that Creighton did not beat Nebraska in a single thing this year. So
suck it.
would we had yeah. Oh, here we go. Aaron says, and here's the thing: their baseball players are all assholes. Glad to hear it's not the whole school. My theory about baseball is
baseball players are just assholes in general.
Yeah, I mean, God, I mean, I know they're not
so are hockey players, though.
No, I don't. I think baseball is almost worse. At least hockey players are like ramming each other, and they'll still be shaking hands
outside of hockey.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying that's just baseball. It just feels like these guys are in the dugout, just I mean, trash talk, and not just really trash talking, but just like steroid level yelling constantly, trying to start the fights, and just I mean, it's just like shit talking where it's all anger. Because don't get me wrong, Miley said to me the other night, I'm glad, I don't know. She's like, well, we were talking about softball, and she's like, I don't think I could sit there and yell in that dugout for 7 innings, or like, it just constantly taught because they start at the beginning of the game, they don't stop. And for the most part, they'll get fired up, but for the most part, they're turning to their team, to the dugout, or their team in the field. The only time I really saw I wonder if I kept one of those pictures because I didn't switch anything out this week. And I thought I got the one in there. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, right there. That's Hannah Core. Kennedy Williams is up there talking to her. Right behind him is Caitlin Canada. And they were the 3 runners that scored when they were down 2-0 right after the UCLA coach Kelly Inouye Perez attempted to get Jordy bounced from the game after she ran into the second baseman. She challenged for malicious intent, like trying to hit her where Jordy'd be gone. And it was just the biggest pile of crap. The fans didn't like it. I guarantee the team didn't like it. And sure enough, the very next swing, Hannah rips one up the middle. Hannah was on first, I think. So Kennedy and who's the other one? No, Canada. They both score, and then they threw it around, it bounced back out from the plate. So Hannah said, "What the hell?" She goes in, and I mean, when she scored, the 3 of them just turned to Taylor Tinsley and the UCLA team, and they were screaming. And and I think that was just more of a screaming middle finger for just trying that Bush League low rent reach around challenge. And normally I'm like, come on, rise above it all. Kind of like when Nebraska rose against it men's when they played Oregon. And Oregon ran on the field because of a hard slide at second. And the funny thing was, neither Oregon nor Nebraska's players so much as shoved each other. They exchanged a few words, and Oregon empties their bench onto the field, and here's like 4 or 5 of them that go running over to the Nebraska player, chase him off, and quite frankly, by clearly defined rules, should have been booted. And hello, Tatum. There you go. Almost got the hand nip. Get it. And and then the umps made excuses like, well, you have no one was instigating. And so it's like, well, the rule doesn't say anything about instigation. It says you're not allowed to run on the field. And if you get anywhere near the, where the players that are, getting heated with each other, they said, it's like, that's inciting, you're gone. So boom. Anyway, that's my rant on that. But yeah, that baseball just seems like it's like highly pissed off stuff from the dugout anymore. And I feel like I've seen it before, but it just didn't seem to go as strong. And maybe I'm overthinking it. Let's see if we got any comments. Aaron, yeah, there we go. This is what I want. Nebraska's players are all fine young gentlemen, unless you piss off Stokes or Overbeek. Overbeek spearing a second baseman like Levante David is maybe my favorite play of the last 2 years. Overbeek sounds like a fine young gentleman himself. And if you notice, I didn't say I definitely took our side in that Oregon thing, but I didn't say that Nebraska was like, oh no, we're the choir boys. But they do seem to like hold back from this constant running out of the dugout to scream at people. Hank, just a little self-control. But anyway, that's that. So real quick, let's talk about Okie State. We're actually going to get
I thought we
Miley
already
in bed
talked
at a
about
reasonable
them.
hour. Well, not the team. I just overall team stuff. They finished 41-15. They were 16-8 in the Big 12, which tied them for second with Arizona. Their RPI position was 15th, and they were, their rankings were 15th by ESPN and NFCA, 14th by D1, and number 13 in the On3 Softball America poll. And I think, they started out up there with a nice run. Like they got a lot of what would you say? Like just a lot of, claps for their performance beating us in the one game. And they were at 13th. And I think they might have hit a lull in the middle somewhere, dropped to like 18th or 19th, and then played their way back up. So, like I said, though, both of our games went I think we're 1-run games, one of them going 11 innings. So if you're expecting any blowouts, I might shelve that and look for some closer games. And hopefully I'm wrong, like I've been wrong with most of my predictions. I didn't think the low scoring would continue Sunday with the wind blowing out 30 miles an hour. And instead, with the winds blowing out at 30, we had a 1-0 game. So at that point, I sort of give up, but I'll keep trying. I would look for scores of lower scores in this one, to be honest, just with Malin and as hot as good as Jensen and Jordy are looking right now. Holy moly. 21 innings.
Connor, your dog needs to be let out.
Yep. Yeah, you can't spare Miley during the podcast, Connor. Let's go, boy.
Oh, here he comes.
Thump, 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 thump. Stomp, stomp.
Yep.
So anyway, that I would be looking probably. God, with Malin, I would not be surprised to see this go 3 games. I'd expect scores of like 3-2, 4-3. I'd like to think our bats get going a little bit. We really can't have another 3 for 37 weekend down below the 3 spot minus Sammy. Sammy right now is quietly, and I kind of asked her just how she's feeling about the group. She looked really tired after the game Sunday, because she's doing a lot of. She's one of the ones hitting. She's an aggressive base runner, so she's always out there running around, and she is just hoovering those grounders at third. And she's had so many where she's on the base or beyond, and just firing it all the way across the field. And so you see her getting she was all conference tournament team, all Big Ten conference tournament team. She was second team all Big Ten. So it was nice to see the coaches noticing her, because sometimes it kind of feels like you're noticing her when she's out there because she's so aggressive, wreaks so much havoc, makes a lot of plays in the field, but she's not one of the big power hitters. Isn't Jensen or Jordy out there, but just is constantly starting trouble. And now she's kind of a streaky hitter, and she's hitting the hot streak in the postseason, and that's what we need. Did Connor get him?
Yep, he's back.
Oh. So anyway, yes,
Oh, now he's gone.
and I've never really hid that for a couple of years now that Sammy's one of my favorite players. She's just, like I said, just aggressive. Like the uniform's always dirty from diving at stuff. And she's just fun to watch. And then if you watch before the games, it's like I didn't have a chance this weekend because they had our press area down the right field line, but I usually try to record her doing all her little hand slaps and dances with her teammates during the introductions. People seem to get a kick out of that. And so, kudos to Sammy for, showing up in the bottom half of that order. Yeah, she only scored, one run. She had the double, only scored one run, even though she got on base 4 times. But when the rest of the people around you are hitting 3 for 37, you're probably not crossing the plate too often. Here's Connor's. Sorry, I was busy. Ludwig won't kill himself. That is Connor is what's the name of Connor's video game?
Crimson Desert, I think.
Desert?
Crimson Desert.
Okay. Well, he loves that
know.
game. Having spent a week in there, I can tell you he loves that game. But the way I dug in on RDR2, Red Dead Redemption 2, I am not judging. Believe me, I'm just telling you a fact. So, really, that's probably about all we got tonight. It's super regional weekend, man. I am jazzed up. Miley will not be with me this weekend. The Miley works, and those game times are a little rough for a working Joe. But I'll be there 8 p.m. Ready to go. We are going to have, it sounds like, much nicer temps. It sounds like I think the 60s on like Friday or Thursday and Friday, and then maybe the low 70s or mid 70s on Saturday. Let's have a look. I don't think it's quite as volatile with the predictions this week either, but yeah,
South Dakota isn't renewing their coach's contract.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I am mad. I wonder if they might have a little player revolt there. That is, I think, the first time they ever made the NCAA tournament, and they represented themselves really, really well. I mean, I get that they had a losing record, but holy crow. I mean, they only lost to the number one team. This is a team that had a losing record, was like 159th in the RPI out of 300 teams, and lost to the number one team 4-1. Then beat Louisville, who'd been, ranked in the 20 to 25 spot for a lot of the season. So they beat a team that had been ranked a lot of the year. Was that 4-2? And then they played in a team that was ranked like most, if not all of the year, Grand Canyon. You saw what they did. They lost 2 close games to us, and South Dakota took them to extra innings without their ace pitcher because she had just worn herself out. I think what she had pit, that was probably the 6th. That was like her 6th start in about, I guess they had 3 days off, so about 6th start in 5 days or 6 days, something like that. And so they even went without her, losing an extra innings to the Antelopes Saturday night. So yeah, it seems like a strange time to let the coach go when they might just be figuring it out. Here Aaron's on this. Says, I read they're trying to hire the assistant coach to keep the team from revolting and going into the portal. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like this team's like we won a game and more than comport ourselves in our first regional. And they fire the coach, and then their facility situation sounds atrocious. Yeah, and it's like, and if you got a few players, and if Madison Evans isn't a senior and she's figured it out, that's a kind. What?
This says his team set up batting cages on Coyote Landing, spent a year practicing inside an old warehouse off campus, spent another year driving to Sioux City for practices, and made numerous trips to Yankton.
Holy cow. Well, let's see. Well, isn't I thought University of South Dakota no, that's in Vermilion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I mean, so this guy's working with nothing, gets into the tournament, and then does well at the tournament. They're going to fire him, man. Because if you've got Madison Evans, and they're aware of how she pitched down the stretch, and she's not a senior. That might have been a tough keep anyway. But now, if you're going to fire her head coach, and if they have a good relationship, you've probably just booted her to a high like a Power 5, Power 6 team, however many they consider power conferences in softball. Huh. Interesting. I can't help there but think of Jason Bateman and dodgeball. Well, that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him, because that just seems a bit dense. Unless you've just got a I-course type athletic director up there who just doesn't have a clue what he's doing. Interesting. Well, I'll have to look into that, because I even did a tweet just, hey, yesterday or day before, just kudos to you, South Dakota. You presented yourself well. Nice job. And I have the feeling that's the kind of thing that playing a hungry little team like that's just discuss, figured something out. I'd rather have that in my back pocket, that game in my back pocket that made us fight a little, instead of, say, the Eastern Illinois game that Okie State got, where they just blew them off the map. So yeah, there you have it. It'll be interesting to see. I would fully expect in this one, since it's just 3 games, to see Jordy start Friday and try to get us a win in the bag, and it wouldn't be surprising to see her, if we lose that game Friday, turn around again and start Saturday. But I don't know. We'll see. We won't wish for bad things. But I'd expect to see Jordy Friday. If we win that, then Alexis Saturday, with her ready to get that NCAA leading 12th save. I think that was her 11th she got on Sunday. That's nuts too. You think about it, because people are comparing her to Shohei Ohtani, and I'm like, we need another comparison now. Now she's almost like, she's not just like a combination of a great hitter and a great pitcher, somebody that does those two, but now she's closing games, and like I said, number 1 in the NCAA in saves while winning 18 games. So I'd say she's a combination of Freddie Freeman, high average, high power hitter at first base, Bob Gibson, picking the spots, changing it up. And then maybe let's just go ahead and, since she's leading the whole thing, let's just go ahead and give her Mariano Rivera as the closer. And so you got to find a player who wins starts, saves games, hits like an all-star. Sorry, Shohei, you're just not good enough for that anymore, buddy. So there you go. That's it. Hopefully we'll see some of you at the park on Thursday and Friday, and let's just hope we take care of it then. Saturday's not just, we got our Saturday free. I got a hotel for Oklahoma City. And yes, I can cancel it if it doesn't work out, but I'm not planning on that. I'm planning on a nice road trip down to Okie City in a cheap but well-reviewed hotel. and if it all goes well, maybe I will be spending, like, God, what would it be? Like 8 days, I guess. I think it starts on a Wednesday and then can potentially go to the following Thursday if they make the final, the best 2 out of 3. So we'll see. One way or another, I'll still be here next Tuesday. Hopefully that next Tuesday is our next to last show. Actually, the show after that would be right in the middle of it, hopefully. So many possibilities. What they say in Step Brothers, so much room for activities.
Woo!
Okay, and with that face, folks, thanks for tuning in tonight. Miley, we got you out of here under 50 minutes even. So
Finally.
There you have it. I could use a little rest myself, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Miley?
GBR.
Come on. Little enthusiasm there. We're hosting our first super regional ever. Let's hear it.
Peace out.
Okay. Go Big Red. Peace out. Love y'all. Thanks for watching. Roll Huskers, roll. And wait. She's not Shohei because she doesn't have a gambling addiction that gets blamed on the translator. Okay. Good enough. What's this one? Bye, Aaron. A little out the door, Go Big Red from Husker Bob. Thank you, Husker Bob, 6321. Next week, y'all, enjoy the weekend. Let's hope it's a loud. God, I'm gonna love the 60s too.
Okay, stop talking.
No, that's what we do. It's a podcast. We talk. Where's Tatum?
I don't like talking. He's not up here.
Oh, we don't get to wave bye to Tatum?
Nope, you just get me.
Okay, well, I'm gonna
You'll
press
see him on Friday.
Thursday.
No,
Well,
he'll
he'll
be
be in
in
the
bed.
kennel.
He'll be in bed.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'll wait till then.
Oh, you get a babysit during the day.
Good night, everybody. I'm so sad, but happy because
Bye.
it's a Lincoln Regional. Goodbye,
Oh,
everybody. Good
Jesus
night.
Christ. Bye.